The Meralco Bolts and the NLEX Road Warriors going head-to-head one more time tonight in the quarterfinals of the PBA Philippine Cup. The two teams are going head-to-head at 6 p.m. to determine who will move on to the semis and face the Magnolia Hotshots. NLEX forced today's decider after stunning the second-seeded and twice to beat Meralco in their first quarterfinal match last Wednesday. Magnolia booked its spot in the semis yesterday after completing a sweep of the Rainer Shine Elastopainters. Magnolia won Game 2, 96-86, to win their best-of-3 series 2-0. Calvin Abueva was an absolute beast, tallying a huge double-double here, 20 points, and grabbing 19 rebounds. Whew. Paul Lee also put up 24 markers. Like Magnolia, the Beermen San Miguel Beermen have also advanced to the semis. They swept their best-of-3 with the Northport Batang pair after winning Game 2 yesterday, 100-95. CJ Perez led San Miguel to victory. He scored a team-high 21 points. More good news here for the Beermen. Terrence Romeo is back. The former scoring champion missed several games because of an Achilles injury. San Miguel will next face the top-seeded TNT Tropangiga in a best-of-7 series in the semis. And now joining us for another all-out discussion on the playoffs of the PBA Philippine Cup is basketball analyst Juan Banal. Brother, good morning. Welcome back to the show. Happy Friday to you.
Hey, man. Looking forward to this weekend. What a hectic and busy week you have.
Busy indeed. Okay, balikan muna natin. Let's go back to that game, one between NLEX and Meralco. We know the Road Warriors won this game thanks to Calvin Oftana. He said, sabi ni Coach Yeng, it was a drawn-up play for the rookie. But that shot aside, Juan, how did they stun Meralco and force today's do or die? What went right for NLEX in that game in particular?
Looking at the stat sheet, on paper, the results were almost identical. Like when it comes to field goal, 42% Meralco, 40% for NLEX. And that trickled down even to the 2-point, 3-point, and even free throw percentage. And if you look at it, there's no great disparity, really. No glaring edge between one team over the other. Actually, in some stats, you'd have Meralco winning over NLEX. And then on other stats, you'd have NLEX winning over Meralco, but and even the quarter scoring was almost virtually equal. First and third quarter belonged to Meralco, second and fourth quarter belonged to NLEX, and it took a small mistake and one well-executed play to decide who would win in that game. The 2 free throws missed by Mac Bello and that one good time cut to the basket by Calvin Oftana was actually the decider for that matchup.
Mm-hmm. Now, even before the quarterfinals, we already talked about gaano ka-importante itong si Calvin Oftana for NLEX, syempre, sa pagkawala pa nga ni Kiefer. So, mas may green light itong si Calvin Oftana. Talk about, him rising to the occasion yet again after him setting that, kumbaga, yung 3-point record for a rookie. And this time, to keep his team's season alive with that play. Grabe yung kumpiyansa ng bata, no? Sabi niya nga, he was telling me na sabi niya, the previous play na offensive reboundan daw siya ni Bong Quinto and then nagulat siya nung binigay sa kanya ni Coach Yeng yung play na yun.
All conference long, especially when it started, dami nating breaks, diba? That we were really waiting for Calvin Oftana to shine. It came to a point that there was a trade rumor between NLEX and Rain or Shine, and the people involved in that trade was Calvin Oftana and Bo Belga. That's the value that they are placing on a Calvin Oftana because that's a Bo Belga on the other side. And, rookies have a good chance of really shining under the Yeng Giao system. He was a pleasant surprise in this series because we were expecting other guys to step up, like Kevin Alas or Jericho Cruz and J.R. Kinyan. These are the names that we constantly mention. But, I'm sure Coach Yeng Giao is really happy with the results and the trust that he has given Calvin. He's like a young Troy, how Troy Rosario plays. But the difference is that he bloomed early. He's really showing for Troy was a little late bloomer, but we knew already how Troy could play. And Calvin Oftana, we knew that he's going to be like a next Troy Rosario. And he's showing it early on in his career. And, he made, yes, it's true, he had a couple of really crucial defensive mistakes, and not just against Bong Quinto. It was all for the entire game. There were a lot of defensive mistakes that Calvin committed. But anytime you have a rookie playing without fear in a stage such as this, in the playoff, that's always big for any team.
Well, it wasn't only, kumbaga, hindi lang naman si Oftana, yung former San Beda Red Lion. Actually, medyo na overshadow lang because of that play. Pero si Anthony Semerad, he led the team with 23 points, 9 of 14 from the field, including 5 of 10 from beyond the arc, all in 13 minutes of play. He was very efficient as we take a look. 64% from the field, 50% from three-point range. Talk about Anthony Semerad and finding his niche here with Coach Yeng's system.
Yeah, basketball is a game of confidence, and with Coach Yeng's system, you can't tell who would shine and who would step up every game. It could be a Kenneth Igalo, it could be a Philip Panyamogan, it could be anyone. And again, even Tony Semerad mentioned that he attributes his success to the trust that Coach Yeng Yao has given him through and through. And the beauty of having a Tony Semerad in your team is that he's now starting to play in different positions. You see him playing in the one, defending a guard, defending a power forward. And that now creates matchup problems for any team. If he's able to be that versatile defensively. So imagine if with him playing the 4th position and him moving around, he's not the stationary type of player. He likes moving around, grabbing boards, relocating in the 3-point area. And if he picks the right spot and waits for the right time for that kick out, it would be tough to chase after an Anthony Semerad around the court, if you're a power forward. And the testament to that is the 10 attempts that he was able to have in the 3-point line, and he was able to make 50% of those. So that he's getting open looks because that's 10 shots attempt from the 3-point area that were given to him by the opponent.
Well, grabe pa rin. It was still a grind-out battle for NLEX. Really, muntika na talaga silang matanggal on such a close call for them. What do you think, Juan? Do they need to, kung may nakikita ka pang mga adjustments pa nila? Kasi syempre, Meralco will really, adjust and try to shut down, for sure, Anthony Semerad here and probably also Mark Calvin Oftana. But what should NLEX do and address for today's game to stun again Meralco and probably, defeat them for the 2nd straight game?
They just have to stick it to Meralco. They just have to be, keep staying aggressive because we know that Meralco has that calling card. We know that, with players like Cliff Hodge and Chris Newsome, these guys are very aggressive and they like grinding it out. And make sure that with guys like Troliano, they have to stick it with these guys. And they just have to keep moving off ball. We've seen that very successfully done by NLEX in the last game. J.R. Kenyan had a field day making those great passes because he had someone to pass it to because the players were constantly moving. So you have to keep the defenders of Meralco busy. We know that they are a good half-court defense team, itong Meralco, and letting them focus on individuals because they can't just make sure that, they can't keep their eye off the man that they're guarding because they keep moving. That would be an advantage for NLEX. Constant movement will keep Meralco busy.
How about Meralco? Anong kailangan nilang ganun? What adjustments should they make now to bounce back and knock out NLEX and finish them for good and move on to the semis?
I would say they have to start controlling the boards. Raymond Almazan should be dominant, should be a dominant presence. He was 2 out of 7 in 16 minutes of playing time in the last game. And then Chris Newsome, we know that Chris Newsome lives for these, do or die games. We've seen him, make those baskets, those clutch baskets also for Meralco. And this time, we need to feel his offensive presence. We know that Alain Maliksi is there. We know that Mac Bello is there. These guys are doing getting the job done offensively, but he needs to step up. And we know that he can. And in the last game, he played 24 minutes, but shot 3 out of 5. That's just 7 points for Chris Newsome, right? And so in a series, usually when teams play against each other over and over, the system and the game plan will get you to a competitive advantage position, but it's really the players that will take it home. It's the individual effort that will bring it home and that will close it out. So at this point, I think, Chris Newsome lives for these moments and we expect that he will step up in this game.
Well, Juan, just stay where you are. We still have a lot to talk about here dito sa Sports Desk. Magkakaroon pa tayo ng special guest. Later, Juan Banal and I will talk about the Magnolia Hotshots Pambansang Manok and their sweep of the Rain or Shine Elastopainters. Magnolia head coach Chito Victolero will also join us live to talk about the team's playoff run so far. Plus, Juan and I will also preview that upcoming blockbuster semis matchup between the San Miguel Beermen and the TNT Tropang Giga. We still have with us basketball analyst Juan Banal. We've been talking about the playoffs of the PBA Philippine Cup. One yesterday, the Magnolia Hotshots and the San Miguel Beermen, they booked their spots in the semis. They're already through. Let's talk about Magnolia first. Unahin natin. Tinalo nilang rain or shine Elastopainters in Game 2 again, 96-86. How did Magnolia look to you this entire series? Kasi parang, they took care of business. Parang hindi sila nahihirapan. And grabe yung, kumbaga they're peaking. We've been talking about that and how they're really peaking at the right time. And for you, ano yung mga nakita mo doon na keys na pwede nilang dalhin to the next round of the playoffs?
Out of all the matchups we mentioned, we labeled this the Royal Rumble, Andre.
I remember.
Because it was gonna be grind it out, bruiser take all winner for this series. Magnolia just with its experience and just their desire. We're not saying that the other team didn't want it more, It's just that, starting on the right foot, they had an 8-0 start and immediately showed that Magnolia wanted to close out this series. And, the lead went as high as 16 points. And they shot 32 out of 39 from the free throw. And that could be attributed also to the defensive mistakes of rain or shine against them. And Magnolia had 63 rebounds compared to the 36 rebounds of rain or shine. We also said that this game was going to be won in the hustle chart.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Magnolia had that edge. They won that chart. They won the game by really winning those 50-50 balls, and they outlasted this type of game, which is, again, rain or shine plays this kind of game also. If they were playing against other teams, this is what people will say. Rain or shine wins in the hustle chart.
Yeah.
But this time around, they were able to compete against. They competed a team that also had the same style and outlasted them and outdid them in that very same chart that they usually win in.
Well, their big three did step up. 24 for Paul Lee, 20 points and 19 boards for Calvin Abueva, and 13 and 11 naman para kay Ian Sangalang. Now let's bring in Magnolia head coach Chito Victolero. And he joins us live from the bubble. Coach, magandang umaga. Congratulations on completing the sweep. Sabi ko sa'yo, mukhang gumagana ang swerte namin ng sports desk sa Magnolia. Talagang puro panalo pag nag-uusap tayo. Yung assessment mo muna of your team's performance so far in the playoffs.
Good morning, Andre and Juan. Good morning, everyone. Yes, very happy, Andre. And at least yung 50% ng goal namin, na-achieve namin. And sa eliminations, and then dito sa series, sa quarters. And then the other 50%, yung 25% is on the next series, which is yung semis. We're yung moral ng team medyo mataas, and maganda lang dito, nakapahinga kami. Natapos yung series ng maaga. At least we have a day break, and then tomorrow we will try to practice and have a game plan kung sino man yung makalaban namin with Meralco or NLEX. But Andre and Juan, I'm very happy dun sa performance ng mga bata dun sa series sa Rain or Shine. Tama naman si Juan, we're outworked and out-hustled. We won the 50-50 balls. Everything, it's all about the effort ng mga players. And yun naman yung game plan namin.
Juan?
Coach Chito, I just wanted to ask. I know that looking at the other matchups in this playoff, in the quarterfinals and eventually in the semifinals also, your road to the championship. What do you feel like you still need to work on so that you can say na okay, any other team, kahit sino pa yan, makaharap namin sa finals, basta maayos lang namin tong mga, these different things that we still need to fix. What would those aspects be para you can confidently say na kahit sino pa yan makatapat namin, kaya namin yan?
I think we need to improve pa yung execution namin on both ends of the floor. Our defensive scheme, kung sino man yung makakatapat namin, we need to improve pa yung depensa namin. Although I'm very happy with our defense against Rain or Shine. We limit them at, I think, under 80 points in average. And yung pressure defense namin, sobrang ganda din. But of course, there's a breakdowns also. So we just try to, malimit lang yung breakdowns. We just try to watch the film and trying to see kung ano yung pwede naming ma-improve pa in our defense. I'm very happy with our rebounding, the effort, also yung work na binibigay ng mga bata. And also in offense, in execution also, half court execution, especially our half court execution down the stretch. We have to be more smart down the stretch kasi yan yung playoffs eh. Whoever execute well, because yun nga, medyo ngayon sunod-sunod na yung game, so yung mga players medyo yung kanilang also yung alam mo na medyo mapapagod ka agad, but we need to execute even we're tired. So yun yung pinaka-importante dito.
Coach, nabanggit nga natin pag ang susunod na mga kaharap nyo, well, hindi pa alam kung sino mananalo today sa pagitan ng Meralco and NLEX. Ikaw, Coach Chito, sino sa tingin mo mananalo dito?
Andre, wala akong tinitingnan. They play very well. Both teams play very well, and ang sarap panoorin.
Sarap.
Siguro enjoy muna natin later yung series na yon. And after the game, siguro may coaches meeting nga ako, and then we will try to set a game plan also kung sino man yung manalo. But you know, they have a veteran coach, well-coached team. Kung sino man yung manalo, deserving talaga mapunta sa semis kasi ganda lang nilalaro nila parehas. And enjoy lang muna natin yung series siguro later on.
Maganda no? Kasi parang kontrapelo nga din itong dalawang to. Tapos you have Coach Yang Giao against Coach Norman Black. Pero ikaw, Coach, I know both teams will be tough for you. Pero matchup-wise, may pabor ba para sa'yo? Or kumbaga, mas tinitingnan mo na mas matinding matchup para sa Magnolia? Meralco ba o NLEX?
Andre, I think wala naman
okay.
Walang advantage kasi ang maganda lang ngayon dito sa tournament natin, sa liga natin, yung mga teams balance. Siguro may mga ilang teams lang na talagang yung talent medyo mataas, but yung iba iaano mo na lang yun sa effort sa energy ng mga players. Kung medyo talo ka dun sa materials o sa talent, siguro yung extra effort na gagawin mo, yun yung pwede kang pumantay or magkaroon ka ng advantage. But I think walang advantage sa match-up or sino man yung mga kalaban mo. Because both teams naman talaga, they have the materials The Meralco, meron silang Newsome, Hodge, tapos meron pang Pasaol na rookie, and then si Alain. And then the other side, they have a very good rookie, si Optana, lumalabas na talaga yung laro niya. And then the veteran Stikinyahan, nandiyan si Alas, nandiyan si Toliano. So magandang match-up. I think walang magiging advantage sa amin. Hindi kami pwedeng mamili. Just like what happened doon sa eliminations. Kung sino lang yung itapat sa amin, yun ang paghahandaan namin.
Well, good luck sa inyo, Coach. Alam kong maganda yung bakbakan mamaya. Sino nga mananalo doon mga karap ng Magnolia. Thank you so much. We'll let you go.
Thank you,
salamat.
Andre. Thank you. Give me a call on Sunday, para swerte tayo.
Narinig mo yun, Juan. Saan mo ulit yung tawag namin, Coach Chito, Dahil every time, proven na nanalo ka. Best of luck to you and Magnolia sa semis. Again, we just spoke to Magnolia Hotshots head coach Chito Victolero. And basketball analyst Juan Banal is still with us on the show today. Juan, let's talk about the San Miguel Beermen now, also completing that sweep of Northport. And the Beermen winning Game 2 of that series, 100-95 to book a date. Now with none other than TNT Tropangiga. It will be the battle of the heavyweights. The former 5-time champions taking on the top seeds of the conference. TNT heading into battle with the only team that beat them during the elimination round. Gano'ng ka-exciting to? It's, kumbaga, parang finals matchup na nga to but it's gonna be a big one. TNT against SMB.
You're right. With no disrespect to the other teams, the finals could have come a little bit earlier. But you know, this is like a child waking up in Christmas morning. That's how excited I am to see this matchup. It's the same way I was excited to see the trailer of Godzilla versus King Kong. You've got a healthy SMB, and then you've got a dominant TNT. I mean, this. I wish this goes like. If there was a Game 7, I hope it reaches Game 7.
Yeah. Well, yesterday we did see San Miguel get back Terrence Romeo, former TNT player. Talk about his importance in this series against TNT. And kahit anong sabihin na natin, kahit wala na yun, pass is fast. Pero may konting yan na syempre, ito yung pinaglalaroan ko dati. There's that fire that maybe we can see from Terrence as he plays his former team.
And this is Terence Romeo we're talking about. You're absolutely true and right there, Andre, that Terence, let's not say he's vindictive, but he's competitive. And so we know how he enjoys competing, and he probably is like Kobe Bryant. He puts himself in a position where he has to have a real strong motivation to beat the opponent, and he is the leading scorer for SMB despite him having to sit out a couple of games. He's averaging 17.9 points a game. He's averaging 28 minutes. And his average field goal is 10 out of 15 from the field. That's very high.
Yeah.
And he has the most attempt in the team in terms of basket. So more than anything, more than adding depth to the lineup of San Miguel that is already deep as we speak, it's the unpredictability of having a Terence Romeo on the floor. Because whenever he has the ball, he's always a threat. That's the scary part about Terence. You don't know what he'll do. Will he pull up? Will he pass it? Will he create plays? You don't know. And again, yes, there are just only 5 players on the floor. But what's scary about San Miguel is that they have just the range of combinations that they can have on the floor with that 5 players that they just need to field. And Terence Romeo is another additional problem to the rest of the teams that they're going to be playing up against.
Well, one, si Romeo hindi lang naman siya yung big name in this series. A lot of stars from both teams, San Miguel and TNT. Ano yung mga key matchups na we should take note of and something that you wanna point out? Is it the big man matchup? Is it anong mga Mikey Williams against Chris Ross?
I have a list, Andre. Actually, I was thinking of Mikey and CJ. You know how exciting they both are. You've got RR and Marshall who can have a shootout contest, the entire game. You can have Chris Ross and Ryan Reyes, their defensive impact on the floor. You have frontline matchups of Junmar and Mo's offensive presence versus Kelly and Poy's defensive presence, right? And then, of course, you have Terence Romeo up against Jason Castro, the ability to take over the team and just be dominant all throughout. It's kind of like a passing of the baton din, diba? So probably top 2 best point guards in Asia, currently. So and there's just so many things, and now you're gonna have to see them gut it out and play it out in this series.
I'm just really excited for this series. I can't hide that excitement. But before we discuss the keys to winning for both San Miguel and TNT, first, let's find out the answer to our quiz question of the day. The question I asked was, Chot Reyes won his first PBA All-Filipino Cup championship back in 1993. Now, which team did he coach at that time? I think you know the answer here. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not so confident, but I would say Coney Island, or I'm not so sure if Coney Island was the name of their team at that time, but Pure Foods franchise.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure if that's correct because batang 90s ako, I was in the era right there in the courtside seats when Alaska was playing all throughout that decade. Yeah, but and I remember Coney Island on the other side. Yeah.
Well, you got the correct answer. The Coney Island Ice Cream Stars, Coach Chot, and Coney Island did defeat the San Miguel Beermen and their head coach Norman Black at that time in the All-Filipino Cup Finals in 1993, 4-2. Coney Island Ice Cream is known, of course, these days, sabi mo nga, Pure Foods franchise. So ngayon, sila yung Magnolia Hotshots, pambansang manok. Coach Chot obviously knows how to win. Alam na natin yan, established na yan, given yon. So what will it take for Coach Chot and the rest of TNT to get the victory in this series against the only team that beat them in the elimination round and a team that wants to reclaim their crown in the All-Filipino Cup?
I would say that you have to own your matchups. Whoever's assigned to you, own it, embrace it, asawahin mo if you have to. Make sure that this guy's not going to score over me. And Coach Chot takes pride in their defense, but I think that's a given all throughout the conference. But it's the offense that shouldn't be absent. They have to push the ball. They have to make San Miguel pay for every second that they make mistakes on defense. May it be not getting down on transition. May it be, quote unquote, cheating on defense and, swiveling their head. You have to make them pay for every defensive mistake that they will make. And that will start with how potent their offense is.
How about San Miguel? Ano naman yung mga kailangan nila for, the keys for them to, beat TNT in the series?
Well, you expect the TNT will be in their faces defensively. They have to make sure that they will be able to adjust in the game constantly. Coach Chot is a master tactician, and that your initial game plan might have to change every so often within the game. And San Miguel's ability to make those reads, those early reads early on, will put them and position them to finish strong. And San Miguel has the capacity to do that because they're very agile. They can stretch their lineup in terms of different combinations. So, but it's actually making sure that they have to know that they will have to get in the mud with TNT because they will take the game will be taken to them.
Well, Juan, maraming salamat. Stay safe. Happy weekend. We'll talk to you again soon for sure. It will be an exciting weekend again in the PBA. We just had basketball analyst Juan Banal